Priest player, which is on the total opposite like side of the spectrum as far as his MTG experience goes.
I feel like he is on top of his heels, on top of his skills when he uses actually a beatdown deck, like Mage or the Druid, an example.
Yep. All right. So I saw a mind control deck and a counter spell there, and Savjz is getting what?
What?
Oh goodness, that did not just happen.
Okay, this is getting interesting. So it's is it a fatigue mage?
You know what? Coming from Savjz, I don't know what to expect. Oh, and wait, no.
What's going on? We will see another Kibler phase when he will.
When you see that in Hansel Meccano.
When he will be the witness of those cards coming into play.
Yeah. So trading away for the Zombie Chow here prevents a ping and Zombie Chow attack on the
I think you have to do it. You have to do it because that neck warper is so important. Just because you have that Tinkertown Technician in your hand.
But look at this. Look at Savjz's hand right now. MC Tech, if the board gets out of control, he has a Sludge Belcher, which will be helpful. Well, that's pretty on point.
Hello.
This will be a Tinkertown Technician turn.
No, I'd play Mechanical Yeti because the thing is, Mechanical Yeti is not played by every player out there. A lot of people just play the Shredders without the Yetis. But the good thing about that specific card is the strength of its body. Like, it's a 4/5 that almost guarantees that you will get off that Blast Mage if it's coined out.
Well, okay, I agree with you here. The Yeti is better than the Tinkertown Technician. Because it was turned... Well, if Savjz would have a Fireball...
This would be different, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you still get the initiative, I guess, but it's not nearly as good. So, yeah, in fact, Fireball would have been a pretty good draw for Savjz. At least he's going to be able to put pressure on with just a Pilot Shredder. Well, not counter pressure, but a decent amount of it.
But what's the next turn from Savjz here? So they enhance on Meccano? Or he just ignores... Yeah, he just ignores the board. This is kind of... I really like this play, because but it also gives away the idea of what can be played by Savjz next turn. One comes to mind is the Mind Control deck, because he didn't trade, and that was an obvious trade, right?
It's either that, or Brian says, okay, so he wants to, at all costs, get the initiative, and he wants to force me to make the trades. And
but
so he's got to be
will not
afraid.
happen at all.
Yeah, there is no way. Well, I mean, he could make the trades. I don't doubt it. It's just that Blast Mage is just such a powerhouse of a play right now. And he
Do you think Brian will play into the Mind Control deck? I don't think so. Like, he can take advantage of that Mech Warper, but it doesn't really make any sense, right?
Here's my question. How often do you see Mind Control tech in Mech Mage?
Well, it's not a Mech Mage.
Well, no, but you don't know that. You've seen Unstable Portal. They could still be that. It could be an awkward version of it. Well, he does not, in fact, play into the MC tech. Not by a long shot, in fact.
So now the Encancer Meccano has kind of value.
Incredible value. Well, it's not like a filled board, but it's going to give you some...
Wind Fury on a 3/2.
Well, he's going to kill the Yeti, right? Or the 5/4, whichever. I think the Yeti is a better kill, because you can just get the Enhancer to trade to the Blast Mage and ping it to finish it off.
I think so.
We didn't see the Brian Kibler face, though. He did not seem impressed. He's also lagging. Maybe he had a massive surprise face, and we just missed it.
Well... Savjz will drop a Belcher on next turn. That's guaranteed, I think. And do you play the spare part on the Tinkertown Technician? Or no, on Goblin Blast Mage, right?
You could play even on the Clockwork. Yeah, he does play it on the Clockwork to prevent the ping, because the Savjz can get a ping, but if he does, like a ping on the 5/4, the 4/4, but if he does, then he only has 3 mana left over to do anything, which means you're probably going to be pretty far ahead no matter what. Wait, is that nearly over the next 2 turns? This is almost lethal over the 2 turns.
It's one of lethal next turn. If you play the Belcher, because then the Blast Mage trades in the Belcher, the Clockwork Gnome trades in the
but
Slime.
He can't double Fireball.
Yeah, but it's lethal next turn, because now we just play Fireball and Pink, and then you have Fireball, second Fireball on turn 7.
Yeah, exactly. He's got about 2 turns to go, and that's a pretty threatening hand. I mean, for that reason, I think Kibler knows that putting as much aggression as possible is the right way to go. This is kind of a better time to have double fireball than the position that Kaldi was in earlier, going back on those games.
Definitely, but wow, what a heads-up play from Savjz here.
Yeah, he knows to be careful. He wants that slime to tank, to soak up as much damage as possible.
But with double fireball, I don't see how Savjz can make a comeback here.
I think
it's kind of similar. Okay, so he's using the fireball, but still, it kind of feels similar to when you're losing to a hunter race, you know? Because the mage hero power is kind of the same. It's just twice less effective, but it still will. Yeah, it will put you on the clock anyway.
So here he didn't actually lose anything because he could have fireballed face and traded with the blast mage, but ultimately he gained 6 out of attacking face and pinging. So he lost absolutely nothing from this. And honestly, Savjz's mind control tech is doing absolutely no work. He cannot play it because if he does, he reveals way too much information about his deck to his opponent.
And this game is already lost.
Yeah, there's a guaranteed lethal next turn coming from Brian. Should I say Kibler or Brian? I keep forgetting. You know what? I don't know. I'm gonna call him Gaming from now on. I'll just pick the one word. Yeah. One word I don't get confused by in his list of titles. Well, that's as good a cloak field as any.
And this is a nice play, but doesn't achieve anything, unfortunately, for Savjz here. So Savjz went for a kind of
mid-range mage.
Mid-range mage. I was searching for the right, but it didn't help him against the mech mage.
Yeah, well, mech mage is a mid-range deck. The only difference is that mech mage is leaning very heavily on the aggressive side, and Savjz's mid-range mage seems like it's much more control-oriented by a long shot.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know all the cards in Savjz's deck, though, so he might be running the usual array of mad scientists and duplicates that we often see, or at least saw, in the older mid-range mage versions. So I wouldn't be surprised that he ran those. He just couldn't draw them. His hand was very mid-game oriented, and against mech mage, you can't really afford that.
Yeah, when you draw a Palted Sky Golem and Sylvanas.
Yeah, it's not gonna beat mech mage like ever. You're always gonna get steamrolled by them, unless some heal bots come into play that help you out. And Savjz is the kind of player who I wouldn't doubt is playing heal bots in a mage deck. It's the type of deck that I would see him play. He's a very, very heavy control player, and mage could make sense with those cards. We have seen mill mage in the past, and it did use anti-kill bots to further their agenda.
Well, we will have probably more chances to see this mage. And yeah, we'll see it again in the next match, in the next game. Because Savjz will play the mage again, and Brian Kibler Gaming will play Druid.
Okay, so that's not going to be too bad. Druid versus mech mage. Let me rephrase that. Versus mage. In general, I would say Savjz has a good chance, but this is going to be a pretty weird matchup since we have absolutely no idea exactly what Savjz's mage contains. I can't wait to see, because the game will go on for longer, in theory, than it did now, so we should be able to see more cards from Savjz's deck.
The problem with the mind control tech is there's almost no chance of getting any value from the mind control against Druid. Like, you want to drop it as a free minion. That's it.
If you don't,
it's still not bad.
Yeah.
It's still not bad. Yeah.
But you might as well run Earthring Farseer at that point, I guess. And unless Dr. Boom comes out when there's something already on board, you won't get any value out of MC Tech, and that might be a reason why. I mean, if you're running BGH and MC Tech and you play both back to back, you could get some decent anti-Dr. Boom value. If you don't steal Boom, you kill him, and if you do steal him, then you're far ahead anyway. It's kind of like a heavy teching against it, though. All right, so Savjz playing Unstable Portal, and
there's the mirror entity.
So how different is it from the from Mech Mage?
Maybe he's playing Kirin Taurus.
I like that.
Like, the old mid-range mage before mechs were introduced.
Yep, I remember the Twilight Drake / Belcher duplicate play as well.
Well, that was kind of control-ish mage, but but not freeze mage.
So we do see
And
the
he did draw.
BGH.
Oh, crap. That's really unfortunate to draw the secondary entity from the mulligan.
Whoa!
Kazan Mystic.
Brian Kibler is going to take that away from Savjz very fast. And honestly, well, not the game that is, but that secret. Wow. Oh, Savjz is going to get demolished by this double shade early game.
Double Shades will have, like, I don't know if that will be more impactful card than Shade on Extremas being played on turn 1 and turn 3. Like, what can you do? Insane value that they can be even not revealed until you get lethal.
And you know the worst part in the entire thing is that I suspect Savjz will just play his mirror entity as having no other play. I mean, maybe Piloted Shredder with the coin. But if he ends up going for mirror entity, he's gonna get punished.
Oh,
no.
Wow.
Oh, Savjz.
Oh,
you are...
wow. Kibler's face? What's the Kibler face now?
It's not there, it's just, you know, he's not even surprised. He's just like, well, that was kind of supposed to happen. I mean, I did put the Kazan Mystic in my deck. And we can't see. I would like to see Savjz's face right now.
Why Savjz doesn't have a cam?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's late where he lives. Is it?
What? No. He's from Finland, so it's like 9 p.m. for him.
Okay. Well, I have no explanation. We can, you know, console ourselves with Brian Kibler's face.
So, will Mind Control... That's quite a nice job. Will Mind Control take a minion because of the mirror entity? Like, there will be 4
No,
minions.
the battle cry occurs before it spawns. No, it won't. It will not. I made that mistake once. It was a one-time mistake. You never make that one again.
Okay.
Yes, now that you asked, I was trying to process the question. It was actually a mistake I made. Well, now I suspect he's almost getting... Well, he's never going to get MC Tech value now.
Yeah. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, Brian doesn't even have what it takes to give him the MC Tech value at the moment. This is going to be game faster than I can think of. Like, 10 damage right now. He left, like, 10 health left on Savjz's mage.
There's no way you can sustain that.
And you can't play minions, because you're just going to die. It is a counter spell. Whoa.
Okay, so you deny the first force of nature. But it's still, you have to deal with those creatures on board, and you have nothing.
You could bluff the ice block by playing Cobalt Guardian, but then again, he's just gonna pop it and keep going.
Yeah, that doesn't really make any difference for the droid player.
You just play Sludge here, there's no other play. Or I guess you could
if you play
Frostbolt the Shade.
Sludge, then...
Frostbolt Shade?
That's super bad. I mean, there's no way out here.
Oh wait, I have an idea. You Frostbolt Shade, then you play the Cobalt Guardian, he trades with Cobalt, then he plays Dr. Boom, and then you MC Tech.
How much point of damage does have Cobalt? Like 6, right? So...
It's a 6-3, yeah. It's gonna trade with the Wrath, I guess.
So that Cobalt just goes face for 6 points of damage, so he is lethal anyway. So there's
no way out. This is over. Sludge Belcher. If you had one more mana, you could coin out the Frostbolt after Sludge, and that would buy.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Wow. That Kazan Mystic.
That was a clutch tech from Brian. And you know what's even more impressive? That he actually had it in his starting hand against the mage. I usually, you know, when you tech stuff like this, it's really primordial that you get it on time.
Value. Oh wow.
Yep, this is actually gonna work for Savjz. Is that gonna buy him a turn though? 3. So your Wrath. Actually, yeah, it's gonna put his opponent on 3, but
yeah, he should have played the Wrath first.
He tried to go for the throat, and now he's hoping his opponent doesn't have some anti-kill bot. Well, then again, what are you gonna do after that? You can't coin out BGH, so that shade stays on the board, so you're still dead.
Wait, what? You can begin Hunter the shade.
He can, yeah. Next turn he can do it if he wants.
But that doesn't make any difference.
It wouldn't make any difference. Like, that's the thing. Brian is currently thinking about what could happen if there was an anti-heal bot, perhaps. But honestly, I can't see a way out of this for Savjz. Like, on 3 health right now against a druid who's just started getting his late game going. Frostbolt on the Shredder. He's gonna live for one more turn.
Unless Brian top decks a Force of Nature or Druid of the Claw. So
Or
there's
swipe, or there's a lot
so
of
he
things.
has
to get.
4 outs at least.
And so he just concedes. So I want to see the end of this game. Okay, well,
So Brian just bluffed his win because he had no finishing move yet.
yeah, and Savjz just took it as a, oh well, I got swipe or double one of my 2 Druids of Claw or my Force of Nature or even just a Savage Roar with hero power. So he had like 7 outs in this deck, just bluffed the top deck, and Savjz took it. Honestly, I can't blame him. He was pretty close to losing anyway. There was very
Yeah,
few.
that's very right. Like that game would still be very hard for Savjz even without that Chasm Mystic. Like there were 2 Shade of Nextremas there.
It
on
would,
turn 1 and 3.
yeah, but it would. I think it would have equalized. I mean, honestly, if the thing is with Mirror Entity, it's an even bigger tempo loss because when you get it off, you're finally able to match your opponent 1-to-1. So effectively, you're not losing anything, right?
You know what the problem was? That Savjz played that Mirror Entity from his hand and not from the Mad Scientist.
Exactly.
That was the biggest loss because he just lost a whole turn to play Mirror Entity
Against Double Shade.
against Double Shade. Yeah. Then he lost the Mirror Entity to Chasm Mystic, and then he lost his minion to a Mirror Entity because he spawned one for his opponent.
For
So
his
it's basically like 3 losses from 1 turn.
Yeah, and in 1 turn he had like it was like a double pronged tempo loss essentially. So Brian is 2-0. He's got 1 deck left, I
And
think.
this is and he's left with Hunter.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Hunter versus Rogue. Apparently, Savjz is gonna be taking his Rogue. Hunter versus Rogue could go either way, depending on what type of Hunter. Though this could be you said Brian was pretty comfortable with a beatdown approach. Mid-range
Yes,
Hunter is pretty beat down, but face
Yeah.
Hunter is it's like the red deck wins of Hearthstone. you could effectively play that and it would work a lot of the time against Rogue.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Face Hunter is the like bane of rogues.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But when Savjz is picking Rogue on purpose against a Hunter because he knows that there will be a Hunter left, then Savjz is thinking that Brian is playing a mid-range Hunter.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's an easier matchup, not an auto win, but it is much easier than face Hunter for sure. So
you can like play the board control a little better than against other decks, but this will be a hard time for Savjz.
well, that he's I'm losing my words. Savjz is gonna be in a world of hurt when he sees that leper gnome fall down.
Yeah, turn 1 leper now. At least he got the coin, but unless Savjz plays like double Farseers and anti-healbot, I don't see him winning this game at all. Okay, well, Brian Kibler doesn't have a good opening hand.
I mean,
That
honestly,
Arcane Golem's not so great.
do you need a good opening hand, or do you just need to?
I don't
be,
see the point
face
of
Hunter?
keeping that animal companion when you're without the coin, you know? I would
As
just mulligan it away.
Actually, I'm even surprised he's playing Animal Companion and Face Hunter. It's a card I dislike for that specific deck. I feel like it's just not necessary. You could even play other aggressive stuff and instead.
Oh! And Savjz just used that backstab.
On a leper gnome.
Yeah.
That's
So
gonna be a pretty
this-
good juggler.
This tells to Brian, okay, he got 2 backstabs, or he doesn't have anything. And he has the double backstab opening.
Well,
Which
actually,
is kind of okay.
yeah, the rogue is actually positioning herself pretty well here.
Yeah, but this can change really fast.
Let's see if it's a huffer. If it's not,
Leo. Well, this is not good at all. So now, turn 3, I...
Oh,
have this-
coin,
Oh, wow,
violent.
okay, never mind. Yeah, this is the best outcome possible.
the best top deck possible. This is actually really crazy. He's gonna get 2 little tokens from that Violet Teacher right away. There is no Unleash the Hounds currently sitting in Kibler's hand. Then again, that explosive trap kind of denies the 1/1s from doing much at this point.
Would you play the Life Juggler there on turn 2?
Honestly, I think I would have just by default, but if you really want to get that Unleash value, then you don't have to. And all you have to do is
Rely on Unleash the Hound's value against Rogue? I don't think so.
without the Violet teaching going on, I think it's not necessarily a bad idea. Because they have to play spells. Even if they trigger your explosive trap, they still have to keep going with spells. That's how they win the game. In general, they'll try to burst you down. And I mean, look at Kibler's hand right now. That Arcane Golem and the Abusive Sergeant together are 6 damage. That puts the Rogue on half health. Doesn't even include the hero power, nor the kill commands. Like, there's a lot of damage to go here. And Savjz is gonna need about 4 turns of, unimpeded board progress to be able to kill Brian from this point. And he's gonna have to deal with Arcane Golem if it does fall down eventually.
Yeah. And still, Savjz has the ultimate board control tool, which is Deadly Poison Blade Flurry. This is insane.
Yeah, the upside to it is that even it used to be the case that Blade Flurry, I think, only dealt damage to minions, and Fan of Knives dealt damage to all enemies. But they changed it around to where Blade
Really?
Flurry, yeah,
I didn't remember that.
it was an alpha. You weren't around. I don't even think anyone was around in alpha. That was before closed beta, and they made a change at that point, and it changed the way that rogues started playing their weapons. It was a really much needed change to Blade Flurry at that point.
Well, now Brian has to put pressure on Savjz, so I would say it's an Arcane Golem turn.
Arcane Golem hero power is good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty solid turn. It doesn't look good because it doesn't put infinite amounts of pressure. You're giving the rogue mana, but you're also putting her directly on 16 health, which as the moment you find another charge minion with your abusive, you're pushing for even more. You find a beast, you get an extra 5. If you find Unleash, you auto-win.
It's all about the mana efficiency here. So basically, Abusive Sergeant is a hero power, and you want to squeeze a hero power for 1 point of mana. So I would like to see Brian like ignoring the whole board of Rogue here and just going for phase with everything, because that's how you win this game. If you get a Unleash the Hounds in the upcoming turns, then you just win by playing double Knife Juggler into Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a bit like I kind of understand why he's wary of it, because all it takes for Savjz to just pack an insane punch is have 1 Tinkers.
But then the Tinkers is kind of not productive with the Violet Teacher.
Yeah, you just want to
it's
one.
an anti-synergy.
Yeah, but based on what he's got in his hand, Kibler sees that he doesn't have an immediate answer to that specific Tinkers if it were to show up. Yeah, but duplicate of Blade Flurry in a position where you don't need it for board control, unless you find Spell Power or Tinker's Sharp's Ord, like, this is not exactly what you want to get. In fact, that's absolutely not what you want to get. And Kibler, oh wow, Brian is gonna abuse this board state.
Abuse with the Abusive Sergeant?
Actually, he doesn't even have to, but he can. Like, you just go...
Why don't you play the Knife Juggler here? Well, it's kind of...
You weave in your hero power for that guaranteed damage. You're gonna get that juggler later, I guess.
Well, okay, that makes more sense.
But no, both plays make sense. They all do. Like, honestly, the arcane abusive hero power and the juggler arcane abusive are both like excellent plays.
Well, you just saw that Savjz didn't play a card on turn 5, so you most likely will know that there's a Blade Flurry, Tinker's combo, whatever.
Yeah, there is something coming up very soon, and you need to address it. And the 2-1 goes down. No minion is going to be usable here for Savjz, assuming he did have the Tinkers that Brian might have been afraid of.
That was really lucky for him that he sniped that. Haha.
Well, the thing is, there were 2 knives, so the odds were in his favor at like 75%, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. So it's really not that fortunate of an outcome, but Savjz's position at this point is, I don't know. I can't see him win this.
Way, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
he
so
still has the second Blade Flurry, so like
Azure Drake.
If he draws into a Tinkers or second Deadly Poison, there's a Tinkers. So he got now 8 point of damage. That's 8, right? That's 8. That's 12. He got 12 points of damage.
Oh my goodness, he might be able to put... And the worst part is there's no explosive trap spawned from this. So it's gonna have to be played from hand. You know what? This is you're right. This is actually anyone's game if you found.
If there's no misdirection.
Oh, can you not
Right.
misread? Well, you have to read
You can
that.
combo. Yeah, you can combo it again. So
Only if you find a spell that can be used with it, and there's no
wow.
minion. There's no way. Like there's no way for you to combo that if it's rated. There's no minion that comes down. Right? Like
that's right. Yeah,
I don't understand.
but
I
still, you would have not. You wouldn't have lethal. Anyway.
So SI. Oh wow! If that SI could be comboed.
Okay,
If
so
that-
if he would actually, no, there's no way. There's no way.
He wouldn't have been able to do it. No.
No. There's no way.
Oh, all right.
So
Well, that
Savjz
was
is
a close
down.
call. This is gonna be game for Savjz. He will notice it soon enough.
Yeah.
If you could sap your own minions, he would win. I think. Right? Yeah. If he could sap his own stuff, there would be a victory there. Oh, that sap would have been better off being a shadow step.
But wow, what a close game here.
That was the closest game with Face Hunter versus Rogue that I've seen in a long time. So this is gonna be 3-0 for Brian, who went 3-0 last week. So that's gonna give him...